Aloha, I'm Mr. Hand, as they say in Fast Times at Richmond High. What is good, everybody? It is Cam Love 16, the gamer, the storyteller, the commentator, the hacker, of course, and y'all know, say it with me, the hopeless romantic. Anyway, I'm back for another video. I know y'all really thought it was gonna be a one and done. No, I'm bored. It's quarantine. Time to talk. Besides, it's been so long, I'm a way different person than I was when I was making my worst rejection story times. Today's video is entitled Shooting Your Shot in 2020. You may be like, what does the hopeless romantic, what can he offer me as a hopeless romantic in terms of shooting your shot? Hey, that's not for you to know right now. What you gotta know right now is that I'm talking about it. Shooting your shot is an interesting thing. We're living in a completely new world in 2020. The internet and technology and applications have made it so we're more connected than we as a society ever imagined. Our grandfathers and their grandfathers could have never imagined a world where we can communicate with someone all the way across the world and develop a relationship with them by simply using something the size of a small book. That's even if you're talking about tablets. I have little notepads, and that's about the size of a phone. But I think it's more indicative of how we form relationships in terms of how shooting your shot has changed to so much. But as a political science major, I look a lot into history, and I'm of the belief that history oftentimes repeats itself. I believe we're in another wave of changing how relationships are seen as a human species. Or at least, let's say, as maybe a person of Western society. To be a little more specific, I can't speak, for example, on how other cultures handle relationships, but I can speak as an American. I believe this is a direct reflection of the free love movement of the 1960s in terms of how, getting into relationships and forming those romantic bonds with people has changed. The free love movement of the 1960s, it's romanticized by flower power and, psychedelic rock music. It was an era in which it was more appropriate it became more appropriate to simply be with somebody for the sake of wanting to date them and not necessarily thinking I'm going into this with the intention to marry someone. It was just like, hey, I like you, I like me. Spiritually, we have some sort of connection, and I want to be with you. And so that happened, and that also led to, stuff I can't talk about on YouTube for demonetization, and because, I might get a job one day. But let's say intimate relations became a little less taboo among the younger generation. Of course, the older generation still saw it as like, heresy and so on and so forth. But the younger generations were like, this is something we want to do. It's a little safer than ever with the advent of contraceptives or more modern contraceptives. And so, like I said, we see this directly in our modern society. We see a lot of times people are like, I'm hooking up with this person, or you see a lot of one night stands, and it's not uncommon for two people to meet on a attraction-based dating site, such as, let's say, a Tinder or a Bumble, and then you hook up with that person, and then that's about it for your relationship. And there's nothing wrong with that. I believe every person should be entitled to do the things they want to do, and should be entitled to do the things you want to do with other people, to put it that way. Love is loved. And I don't think we should ever be forced into seeing love and relationships through one lens. I just think it's important to see exactly how many lenses there are and which lenses will gradually become less and less important as time goes on. The Yo Gotti classic, Down in the DMs. It's actually one of my favorite hip-hop songs from quote-unquote my youth. That started a revolution, Down in the DM is something that's in our lexicon. People are like, hey, I'm talking to this girl over the DMs, and then something actually happens. Or it could be something where you just hit up a girl in the DMs, and then y'all start FaceTiming, and FaceTime at least other kinds of FaceTiming, and I can't really talk about that, but it makes me wonder if whether or not traditional courting, if we want to call it courting or courtship or traditional dating, will survive into the next few centuries. I believe there is a decent amount of value to going on a couple dates with someone and really forming that relationship through either a mutual interest in something, or maybe you're all involved in the same organization or the same group, and using that connection to form a bond with someone that then leads to the other things that happen in relationships, like to fill in the blanks. Or even if you decide to wait with that person to take that step and you say, I want to feel more comfortable with you, I want to establish some other symbol of our bond. Maybe it's a purity ring, or maybe you all get married, or maybe you say, I want to be in a long-standing relationship with you. I'm not saying you have to marry a girl before you do something, but I believe there's a decent amount of value that is placed on having a clearly defined boundary with someone before you do something with them. Because I'm not going to be super religious, but that's a big bond to make with someone. So, what are my reflections? Because I'm already running long, per usual. I'm a rambler, if y'all know me personally. I think shooting your shot in 2020, we can talk about the DMs, we can talk about traditional dating, we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. But I'll leave y'all with a central tenet to be successful in shooting your shot. I've been somewhat successful. I have a pretty low success rate, but still successful nonetheless, so I'd like to talk about it. Be confident and be yourself. Understand that you have value, you have worth, and that someone else will see that value and worth in you. You can't be afraid to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm a good-looking person. I have attractive traits. I'm talented at the things I'm talented at. And I have the ability to use my charisma, use my niceties, if you want to call them that, to attract other people. Not just into romantic relationships, but as a friend, as business partners, whatever you want to do. So at the end of the day, my love life, it's whack. I'm not going to get too many into details, but recently your boy got curved. So I figured I'm going to hop on here, I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to get y'all in the mix. Also, word up, it's really not impossible for you to ask a girl, let's be exclusive during quarantine. Because it's happened to me. I've been on the losing end of that. Not the winning end, but the losing end. Alright, y'all. That's it. That's all I've got for you. Have a good rest of your day. Go eat your vitamins. And drink your milk. Bye.